I have set myself a challenge to rebuild one of, if not the worst, Premier League sides ever in Southampton. But to make it even harder than it already is, this is my friend TomFM. Of course, Tom is no stranger to rebuilding himself on Football Manager. And so I asked him to set me some tactical challenges every season, and he definitely did not disappoint. Yes, welcome to a rebuild with a bit of a twist. I've give Dad the Monday off. I did mention that things will be changing the next few weeks, and this is what we've got going on today. I have become the manager of Southampton, arguably the worst, of course, Premier League side in history by the looks of it this season, already relegated. But it isn't going to be as easy as just me managing the club. TomFM has given me some horrifically difficult challenges, and season number 1 is probably the hardest. So let's have a look at the challenge that Tom has sent me for this Southampton team for season number 1.
So I know nothing about this challenge other than I have to set some tactics. I'm assuming in your first season you're starting quite low down and maybe you need to avoid relegation. We're going to try and go defensive. I want your mentality to be set to defensive, and in transition you need to regroup and hold shape. Also, when you're out of possession, I want you to be in a low block. We need to try and make sure we stay solid defensively, grind out those draws, and then maybe get the odd win from a nice counter-attack. We're going to do everything we can to avoid the drop.
Yeah, I told you this wasn't going to be easy. TomFM has given us such a difficult challenge because everybody knows on Football Manager, playing defensive is difficult enough. The defensive mentality I've made work before, but defensive mentality on regroup and hold shape instead of counter press and counter is different. That is really tricky. And the fact that you've also got to use a low block, well, good luck to us, because I don't think I've ever made that work. So let's look at this to begin with. Obviously, I've had the free reign of the tactical shape, which I'll show you in a sec. But we're still using trigger press here. We said nothing about that I couldn't. We're still getting stuck in and stepping up as much as we possibly can, hoping just to close the pitch out. But we have got hold shape. We have got regroup. And as you can see, we're playing very narrow. We're still using the space, and we're going to try and overlap and hit those early crosses. Playing for set pieces, running at defense, and to be honest, I'm going to be much more direct and a slightly higher tempo. I feel like with it being such a low block and the fact that we've got regroup on it, etc., we just need to be as quick as what we possibly can when we do get the ball back. So maybe being more direct will help us, is kind of what I'm thinking, or hoping, because I've never really had to use those tactical formations. So thank you very much for that, Tom. I'm going to play in kind of a 4-3-3, but I've got a target forward on support on that right-hand side instead of having a right winger, because there are some good options at Southampton in that role. We've got Paul Onuachu, of course, who's perfect for that role. He's 6'7" with good jumping reach. He can hold the ball up really well. I think he's the perfect guy, the perfect foil for us to have up front with Cameron Archer. Now, with those restrictions, the rest of the lineup I could be, quite as generous as what I possibly could, so I'm using some of my favourite player roles. I've got an inside forward on attack, hold the ball up, sit narrow, tackle harder. Centre midfield on attack, one of my favourites. Ball winning midfielder and a deep line playmaker. We've got 2 fullbacks on attack and a sweeper keeper. But I have spent a little bit of money, mainly because at the start of the season, Southampton do have money to begin with on this database. So I have decided to bring in Eric Martel. I feel like the midfield in Southampton is their weakest position, that centre midfield spot. There's nobody in there really who I think can get the ball and just play it around and play it nice and easy, and this guy could potentially do that, and he has great potential. So Eric Martel, only 21 right now. As you can see, I bought him for £10 million. So it's not like I'm gone and give myself 50 million. He's the only 10 million I spent, and I think for a newly promoted side, that's quite generous. I think that is really good. I think I could have really gone overboard, but this challenge, I wanted it to be difficult. So Eric Martel was the only signing I decided to make, and what I'm going to have to do, I think, is possibly lock him in there, because Flynn Downs goes in, and I think Eric Martel should be a better player to go in there. Now, my only really thinking was, to be honest, I should be trying to get Sugawara into the side somehow. He's really good on this, but unfortunately we are only playing one player on that right hand side, so if he doesn't get into the Kyle Walker-Peters, okay, but we don't have Ben Brereton Diaz, who's only on loan, or he is on loan at Sheffield United. So there's a player option there that could mean things might switch around and we might need to use Sugawara a little bit more. But we have started the season, and to be honest, I'm quite surprised we've won 2 games by 1 goal to 0, and Harwood Bellis has scored both. He's a centre-back, by the way. All right, so none of our strikers have actually scored any goals, because the other 2 games, including away to Crawley Town, was a 1-0 loss. I'm telling you now, this is incredibly difficult. And although I said to Tom, yeah, don't, make things hard for me, I didn't realise he'd go this hard season number 1. I didn't tell him the challenge. I just said, I'm going to start off from the bottom and try and do a 5-year rebuild. Can you give me 5 years of different tactical, rules, restrictions, whether it's shape or instructions? And he comes back with this season 1. The guy came out swinging, but I'm punching back. So let's see how I can do in this first season, and let's see if survival is on the cards. Because, to be honest, I don't fancy our chances very well. Well, I'll tell you what, we survived by the skin of our teeth. And to be honest, it is thanks to the 4 points deducted by Nottingham Forest last season. I know they didn't have that this season, but in the updated database that I use, they had it. And it actually saved our asses, despite them also qualifying for Europa League. So yes, I was given the most difficult of asked, because obviously that was an incredibly difficult tactical switch. But never doubt, Odyssey Pro Wrestling's new tag team champion. That's right, you might have seen it up there. You might have seen it on my social media. Me and DBJ went all the way to Morecambe and became tag team champions at Odyssey Pro Wrestling. Thank you, by the way, to the few people who actually came and watched. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. You even got to meet Dad. I am a champion, and this is what champions do. We survive. And I managed to survive kind of using an old database where Nottingham Forest have -4 points, because if it wasn't for that, we would have been relegated and probably sacked. Even still, you might be surprised or not to see that we don't have a top scorer in there, and we had a -36 goal difference, which was only beaten by Wolves' -52. I don't know how Wolves is that bad. They have some incredible players in this game, but statistically, we are nowhere near on any of this other than the most tackles won. Actually, I'm really proud of that. They nearly had 1,000 tackles, which is rather impressive. Now, we did see that Forest have won something, because they have qualified for Europe despite being relegated, and they actually knocked us out of the FA Cup. They did go on to win it as well. They beat Newcastle United in the final, so congrats to Nottingham Forest. Although you will be playing Championship football next season, you did win the FA Cup, that's kind of nice, isn't it? Crawley, of course, knocked us out of the Carabao Cup. We've seen that, which West Ham won. And I'm not being funny, but I kind of like the idea that 2 sides that don't tend to win a lot of cups have just won 2 domestic cups. I know West Ham won the European Cup a couple of years ago, but that's still nice that they've managed to do it domestically, right? They also finished in 5th place, which is rather impressive, to be honest. So, I mean, looking at the game statistically, or the team statistically, our top scorer was Cameron Archer with 11. Paul Anuachu, our target forward, had 9. Sugawara did play quite a lot of games in the end, which I'm kind of happy with, and he scored 5. Maybe if we played him more, we would have been in 16th instead of 17th. Who knows? But I think the main thing take from this is that this is a horrible way to play Football Manager. And although maybe in real life Russell Martin should have used different style of tactic, definitely, Russell, don't use this one. Don't use regroup, and don't use hold shape, because although we survived, we probably shouldn't have. But we live to fight another day, and I just really hope that the tactic that Tom comes up with in season number 2 is a lot friendlier, because I can't see us progressing any further if it's something similar to this.
Congratulations on avoiding the drop last season. At least that's what I am assuming. This season, we're going to want to be on the front foot a little bit more, but we want to remain strong at the back. So you are going to have to use a flat back 5 at all times this season. Go more attacking with your mentality and tactical style, but we have to keep at all times that flat back 5 to make sure we are defensively sound.
Oh, flat back 5. It's not the end of the world. I'll tell you what, right? Now, it's better to have a flat back 5 but be able to play attacking and to be able to have counter press and counter on than it would be for any other formation and have hold shape and regroup. We all know that. I don't think I've used much of it. I think it's just the fact that it takes away a striker, because I had every intention of going a little bit more attacking and having maybe a second striker, but I can't. But I can't. I really want to get Sugawara in this season. I've bought quite well. I think I've bought very well, in fact. We got an inside forward, and I bought Jonathan Rowe from Norwich, who's great. He is going to be superb there, I hope. We're going to give Cameron Archer another chance in a more attacking role. Because last season, it's kind of like playing for Man United, right? Where he just doesn't get any service because we're playing so defensive. Not that United play defensive, but they just don't get any service. So you can't really judge his season on that. I feel like that would be very harsh. What I have done is I've taken advantage of Nottingham Forest going down. Because last season when they went down, they have a few players that I really like the look of. And one of them is Nicholas Dominguez. I think he's a fantastic centre defensive midfielder. And I brought him to Southampton for this passing's great, tackling's great, good first touch, mental attributes is decent, and alright, physically he's not the quickest or most agile or whatever. Good natural fitness and stamina though. He can get around the pitch. And at 26 years of age, I don't mind spending £26 million on him. I think that's actually a really good deal. So, Nicholas Dominguez comes in, and my midfield now of Eric Martel and Nicholas Dominguez looks fantastic. Now, there are other players. As I mentioned, Jonathan Rowe was another one, but Jakob Rasmussen also has come in for £7.5 million. Got an injury, though, because it's me. Whenever I sign somebody, they always get injured in August, and one of them does. Good option, and only cost me £7.5 million. So, again, I think I've been smart in the transfer window. Mateus Fernandez left for £10 million. I had no intention. I mean, look at him. £10 million for that. Steal, if you ask me. But Jonathan Rowe was the final player that I brought in from Norwich for £20 million because they did get promoted. Now it's £20 million for a championship player, but he's Premier League quality in my eyes. However, we've started off the season with just one win. Alright, we've played some difficult sides. I mean, Aston Villa, a big loss to them, 4-1 away from home. Manchester City as well. But we did beat Chelsea. And Cameron Archer got the winner in that game too. So I'm kind of optimistic. The goal we scored in the game as well was quite a good one, to be fair. The build-up play was nice. We worked the ball down the left-hand side. Rowe held the ball up like I was asking him to do. And Taylor on the overlap from fullback is a cracking ball in for Cameron Archer to slot it in as well. So I'm actually really happy with how that played out. I just want to see a little bit more from it because then going from that, which you think is great, to then losing 4-1 is obviously quite bad. But Aston Villa's got a good side. Unai Emery at the wheel at the minute, very good. I don't know, but our chances of survival have definitely increased due to the fact that we can be more attacking, and I've made the most out of that. We are also pushed up, no more low block. We're pushing up. We're in transition, we're gegenpressing. We're going to see if this one pays off a lot more than, of course, the low block and hold shape, regroup malarkey that he gave us last season. How he survived? I don't know. Again, probably because of the minus points. This season, we need a big improvement. We need to prove ourselves in this league. Well, we certainly take them, because the 11th place finish is exactly what I was hoping for. But you can see it was not easy. We were in relegation zone for a long period of time. In fact, nearly half of the season we spent in the bottom three. We survived and we thrived in the end, down in 11th place. And yet again, I mean, the two clubs going down, Brentford and Brighton, one is quite surprising, but two, Brighton going down and qualifying for Europe. That's 2 years in a row that has happened. With Forest last season and Brighton this season. Quite impressive that they've managed to do that. Anyway, we're on 49 points. Last season, we would have gone down because we only had 33. And 35 was enough for Brentford and Brighton to get relegated this season. Middlesbrough were useless. Middlesbrough were terrible. Leeds, who came up with Luton, both did really well. I mean, even Luton got to 40 points. It's quite impressive, to be honest. But we were great. 11th place. I'll take it. Again, we haven't necessarily got anybody in any of the player statistics that I'm thinking, oh, that was good. We're still some far away from that, I guess. Most goals, we're nowhere in that. Last time we got most tackles. This season we're third in that. Everton actually got over 1,000. So there we go. And viewers conceded. Nope, we're not in there either. What about the cup competitions? Well, we could probably guess that we haven't won one of them because we don't have anything next to our name, but we got to the fourth round of the FA Cup, this time by West Ham, and the second round of the Carabao Cup by Brentford, who did knock us out, and they didn't win that one. Oh, it's Brighton, isn't it? Is Brighton then? Is Brighton who won? No. What the hell did Brighton win? Did they go and win a European Cup? The same season. They did. They went on and won the Europa Conference League final the same season as they got relegated. Surely that's never happened. I'm hoping some of you can tell me some stories, because I love it when things like that happen. And you go, actually, in 2005, so-and-so won the league and also got relegated from the French division. Which, news and information that I don't know and I enjoy reading. So if you do have any of those stories of a club winning a European trophy and getting relegated in the same season, I want to know, because Brighton has done it here. And I think it's quite impressive how you can be so good in one competition and so bad in the other. And I'm looking at you, Manchester United. We'll see how long that lasts. Anyway, I'm happy with the survival. I'm happy with where we are in the league. It's good to see Cameron Archer getting 16 league goals. It's the only goals he got. Jonathan Rowe did okay too. Cameron Archer is wanted. We could cash in. He is 34 and 41 million pounds. Sugawara's wanted, but I feel like I don't want to do that because I love him. And he's 34 to 38 million pounds. He got 8 goals and 6 assists this season. Everybody else is not exactly very impressive. I feel like the back five obviously is going to hinder us ever so slightly. But hey, they formed some good partnerships at the back though. Rasmussen, Bednarek and Harwood Bellis. That's interesting to see. So, I mean, it's an orange and a kind of green, but it's not the dotted one. The dotted one's bad. We all know that. Transfer budget next season is 72 million. I could do something with that. I could definitely do something with that. Our finances must be healthy. They are indeed. Do we have it? We got some 79 million pound in the debts. If they just took out a bank loan of 79 million pound, I don't know. You tell me. My friend Tom's going to come back now and ruin my hopes of a good rebuild by giving me a very difficult challenge. Let's see what it is.
So congratulations on last season, or commiseration, I don't know what happened if I'm honest with you. I'm just setting the tactics here. So this season, I want us to go further up the table, but I'm assuming we're struggling for budget a little bit. If we started as a small team, we must be struggling for money. And obviously, good strikers and central attacking midfielders are really expensive. So we're going to cut them out. This season, you cannot use strikers, you cannot use central attacking midfielders. Invest that money into some good inside forwards or some very good attacking central midfielders. They are going to get you the goals this season. We're going to revamp everything. No one's going to know what's going to hit the league this season. It's going to be crazy.
What are you doing, Tom? No strikers? No attacking midfield? I can't just use inside forwards. That doesn't work. I mean, I did actually have a budget. I did think, maybe we'll go 2 up front this season. I'll buy a second striker to go alongside Cameron Archer. And if Cameron Archer doesn't perform, I can always sell him if we have to go back to a one striker formation. But at least then I'll have another goal scorer. That's what I love to do, buy better goal scorers. And then that went out the window with Tom's instructions. No strikers, no centre attacking midfielders, no problem. Because there's something that I was famous for 2 years ago that every now and then I like to bring back, and it's Attackless. No attackers at all, no inside forwards. I took it one step further. No strikers, no attackers. It's all on the centre midfield line, and you can see one of my new signings in Tony Martinez. Now, how this works, I don't know, but it just does. We have got 2 wingers because that's going to provide us with width for one, but chances. They cross on the byline, which tells them to go further forward. They also cut inside with the ball, which kind of gives the instructions of when you can, go for goal, get further forward, tackle harder. The centre midfielders take more risks, dribble more, roam, move in the channels. The centre midfield on attack position is great when you're playing Attackless, especially if you put strikers in there. And that's what I'm doing with Tony Martinez and Cameron Archer. You can see they got the exact same instructions. The middle one, a little bit different. I'm happy to have a centre midfielder in there with the likes of Dominguez, who's a ball winner. You can win the ball high at the pitch, possibly. Left winger the right winger is exactly the same as the left winger, although I've added a couple more instructions, more direct passes. Sometimes that's really good in this formation because it means they're going to switch the ball. We've got a defensive midfielder, again, more direct passes. Inverted wing backs because they help, but put them on attack, and sometimes they actually overlap and end up being the goal threats. And then, of course, the ball playing defenders. Now, I know what you're thinking. This surely cannot work. And if you haven't been watching me for very long, I completely understand you. I completely get why you think that you look at this and you go, not a chance, Luke. No way. I know you're a fantastic Football Manager player, but there's no chance that this works. But if you've been watching me for about 2 years, at the very least, you might go, oh, I know what Luke's doing. Now, I don't pull this out very often because I think it's unfair, but needs must with this instruction. We are very attacking. it needs to be very attacking because we've got no attackers. In possession, we're playing out of defense. We're playing really wide. We're also hitting early crosses. We're playing out of defense there with much higher tempo, running at defense and passing into space. The transition is still a gegenpress, and we're passing it to our back line with short kicks. But out of possession, high press, much high line. It looks silly, doesn't it? But trust me, stepping up more, getting stuck in, preventing the short goal kick distribution. Now, the players that we have brought in, we had money to spend, of course. We have, unfortunately, just lost on deadline day, might I add, Kyle Walker-Peters for £50 million. I could not spend it. It was really late in deadline day, and I couldn't spend it. It was a release clause as well, which is really frustrating. All I can say, I'm grateful it's not in the positions that we really needed, because we got Sugawara, of course, who was there to play. We should be still fine. I did bring in 3 players. I did sell a couple. Tony Martinez, you've already seen. Now, the reason why I brought Tony Martinez in, even though I couldn't use a striker, is he has a player trait that I absolutely need in an attackless formation. Likes to beat the offside trap. Now, ideally, the guy would be rapid. He would be a lot quicker. But with Southampton, not a lot of players want to come to us. What he does have is the ability to anticipate. He has great aggression because we need to press high, and because he's basically playing as a centre midfielder, we need him to press quite well too. Not only that, he has great natural fitness. He needs to get up and down the pitch because his position's a centre midfielder, but he's also playing basically up front for us. But he has good off the ball too, who likes to beat the offside trap. And I'm going to try and find a clip to show you how this tactic works in a sec. But let's have a look at the rest of the transfers. Irving Lozano comes in. Bargain, by the way. £4.8 million. Again, there's a reason for it. Fantastic winger. Quite good on the right-hand side. He moves into channels. He cuts inside. When you're playing Attackless, moving into channels basically means he's going between the defensive fullback and the centre-back. Well, he has to be far up the pitch to do that, which means he'll basically act as an inside forward. That's what I'm hoping, anyway. Irving Lozano's not the last guy, though, because Nathan Collins, once again, I'm taking advantage of the relegated side, with Brentford going down, £44 million. It's a cracking centre-back to bring in, and as you can see, he is great. Now, Cameron Archer and Tony Martinez is going to be locked in, but I'll show you what the best 11 looks like without them. You can see this. So what I'm hoping, with them being locked in, it would basically be this kind of what this looks like here. Now, Brereton Diaz, he is back from his loan, and he's playing all right, to be fair, so I'm not going to lock anybody in on the wings, but the rest of it, I'm actually A-okay with it. Nathan Collins and Rasmussen's in there. Sugawara's a perfect attacking fullback. Well, I think we could be okay here. And we started off quite well. We have just been absolutely stuffed by Leicester 6-2, but we've won the other 2 games against Burnley and Crystal Palace. And remember when Crawley knocked us out last time, when we had the defensive formation? Well, this time we stuffed them 3-0 at their place instead of losing 1-0. Against them last time. Let me find you a goal to show you. Okay, this is the win over Burnley away from home. And this is the first game of the season. 3 minutes into the game, you can see Burnley have the ball here, and we are set up in kind of our formation with just one player who's then went forward. That's Dominguez in the middle. Okay, we have Tony Martinez there. We have Cameron Archer there, our 2 strikers in the centre midfield slots. In behind, we have Eric Martel. Our winger, Jonathan Rowe, and our fullback, Sugawara, are still pushed quite high at the pitch. You can see our 2 centre-backs, Rasmussen and Harwood-Bellis in this occasion, are still there. I think we're in a really good position here where, and you'll see it, as soon as we press, we have space to run into. And this is why I love the attackless formation. Because as soon as I press play here, there's a ball that goes in there. Mistake. Cameron Archer was the guy who won the ball. Now, if I pause it here, already you can see basically a 4-2-2-2 formation. The tactic that's quite good in Football Manager. All right, you've got what would be fullback, 2 centre-backs, fullback. Pretend these are 2 DMs, and then you've got the 2 wingers with 2 strikers. Now, the ball is going to Dominguez, who's playing centre midfield right now, and we've got Cameron Archer on the run. Now, he is the goal scorer. So you can see how this one's going to play out. Dominguez gets the ball and plays through Cameron Archer, who breaks the offside trap to score a goal against Burnley. And as I said, I always love players in those roles to have a certain player trait. Cameron Archer has it as well. Likes to beat the offside trap. So this is how this tactic's going to work. It just somehow does. And as much as Tom has really screwed me over in some ways, I am so happy that I've been able to bring this back. Now watch it crash and burn and watch us fail. I really hope it doesn't. Let's see what we can do in season number 3. That's what I'm talking about. I love Attackless. I really, really do. 5th place with no attacking midfielders, no inside forwards, and no strikers. And to be honest, it could have been higher. We threw it away at the end of the season. You can see we actually only won 2 of our last 5. Another victory just in that alone with a good goal difference, and we finish above Manchester City. With this, we finish above Liverpool. By the way, this is the craziest season you'll ever see. And I must admit, I got a bit excited when I seen where I finished, and then I looked at who won the league. Aston Villa. What? We're only 3 seasons in. They haven't got like a special team or anything like that. It's plain old Aston Villa with Didier Deschamps. The key player is Jacob Ramsey. They haven't signed anybody special. Watkins, Buendia, Marlon, Ramsey. It's the same team. And they've won the league. But it doesn't stop there. Because if you go down to the bottom of the table, Newcastle United got relegated. Newcastle. And you look at their team, it's really good. Alexander Isak, he played 35 games this season. He didn't get injured. They got Saibiri, who they signed from PSV. He's class. They still have Sandro Tonali. They still have Bruno Guimaraes, who played 31 games as well. They lost and got relegated with Bruno in the team. Sven Botman, he played 41 games. He's a great defender. Joe Linton's still there. They still got the Trinity in the middle. I think it's one of the best midfields in Europe. I think they're so perfectly balanced. When I watch them play for Newcastle this season under Eddie Howe, I think there's not a team in Europe who has a much balanced midfield as those 3. The perfect combination of hard work, good tackling ability, and players who can get on the ball, drive with the ball, but also pass internally. I don't think there's a better 3. And all 3 were playing for them. All right. They're not using the tactic that Eddie Howe would use, and they got relegated. And the manager who did actually get them relegated was Oliver Glasner, which is... Although it was Zidane did get sacked at the start of the season. Then it was Oliver Glasner. Xabi Alonso's also been there. Roberto Mancini. I mean, Eddie Howe was sacked a long time ago. He was sacked the first season of this, in 2023. We have had, in that time, Roberto Mancini, Xabi Alonso, Zidane, and Oliver Glasner. And Newcastle United have been relegated. And I know this is a challenge about rebuilding Southampton, and I've really got to give ourselves our flowers because 5th place is fantastic. Also, Palace won something. They're in the Europa League this season, which means that they should have actually gone down. But Luton survived again? Luton survived again! What a season, man. I would love to see this Premier League. Don't get me wrong, as a Man United fan, we finished down in 10th and nothing happened. We still have more points than what we were going to get this year. But this is fantastic. Southampton playing Attackless? Yeah, I want to see it. Tony Martinez, by the way, he got 18 goals, which was joint highest with Armando Broja. Some would say that's the weirdest thing on this page. But there we go. I mean, Darwin Nunez and Beto also getting 15 and 13. It's crazy, but it happened. Jonathan Rowe had the most assists, by the way. Not only did we get qualification for the Champions League, which I think is quite impressive, to be fair, but we didn't do anything in the Cups. 3rd round, Oxford, Arsenal. What more do you want from me? We're not playing with any attackers. I still had fun. I love this formation. Do you know what? I would love to do a series where I only play this formation again. I did one last year when we got sacked after like 5 years. Wrongly, by the way, but I was really enjoying that. But this season, I haven't done one yet. Maybe this is the call to do it. But 19 goals from Tony Martinez. Cameron Archer only got 10. A little bit disappointed with that. Jonathan Rowe got 15 assists across the season, which is great. And it's going to be a shame because we'll probably have to change it next year, unless I can find a way. We got £68 million to spend next season. But again, I don't really know what Tom has in store for us going into season number 4. He doesn't really know how we're doing either, which makes this even more chaotic. We've got Champions League football next year, Tom. Please, give us something that we can do in the Champions League.
Okay, so last season I might have been a little bit harsh not letting you use any strikers or central attacking midfielders. So this season you can use them again, but I am going to mandate that you use certain player roles. I want one of your wingers to be a Raumdeuter, and the other one has to be a wide target forward. The central attacking midfielder has to be an Enganche. Genuinely have no idea what an Enganche does. I've never even read the description on the tactics board, so that could do anything. That could be amazing, but I've never used it. And then I want your striker to be a Trequartista. Good luck with that.
Alright, so Attackless is off the cards, I guess. What is a Raumdeuter, an Enganche, a Trequartista, and a wide target forward? Arguably, the only good one in there is the wide target forward. This sucks. Gone for a 4-2-3-1, for obvious reasons. I miss the Attackless already. Although, wait till you see some of the signings I made, because once again, I struck against the relegated sides. Probably the best player that I possibly could, because believe me, I tried to get them all. And I went and got Alexander Isak. I went and got Newcastle's best striker, the best attacker, who didn't want to play in the Championship, and I pulled him out and said, "Okay, let's come play for Southampton." And he was up for it for £65 million. He only got 10 goals last season. It's probably the reason why they did get relegated. I did sell a couple of players. I mean, Bednarak went for £4.8 million. A couple of players left on freeze. I actually got a couple of really good free transfers as well. Lazar Samardzic from Udinese. I mean, he's cracking. I needed an attacking midfielder. I didn't have one. Now, I mean, I don't know whether he can play an Enganche very well. 3-star, nobody uses Enganche. Surely not. If you use an Enganche, I think we need to check your hard drive. Just gonna go out and say it. You've got some disgusting things on there. I've never seen anybody use it and enjoy it. I've even seen like my favorite creators in Football Manager try to make it work and fail. So if you're using that, somebody check his hard drive. Samardzic anyway will go in there. Raumdeuter, I mean, I'm a big fan of the reason the role was ever created. Thomas Muller. I love Thomas Muller. I think Raumdeuter is German for like Space Finder or something along those lines. Does it suit the players I've got? Hell no. Yeah, of course it don't. Trequartista up front is nice when you've got players around him which will do the running and defensive stuff. But by himself, with an Enganche behind? No. And wide target forward, I mean, I had to buy somebody for it. So my first signing was a winger who's quite good in the air. And I found Baris Asper Yilmaz. And this has been the good thing about this challenge, is finding players which actually suit that kind of player role. Because he's 6'1" with 14 jumping reach, and his natural position is a winger. So his first option is a wide target forward. And I'm quite impressed by that, to be honest. So he comes straight into the team, and to be honest, the great aggression on him, he's a quality player. I don't think I've ever used him. Picked him up from Galatasaray, who bought him back from Manchester City 2 seasons after they bought him and never really used him. And last season, he got 16 goals. So he is a man on form, and I paid £19 million for him. I think this is a great signing. I'm really happy to see it. Well, I'm really hoping to see what he can do for me next season. But anyway, if we're looking at the best 11 pick, this is kind of what the team looks like. I mean, the midfield picks itself. They're two great players for me now. And to be honest, two defenders is decent as well now. So Martel has got better since obviously we signed him. He was only 21 when we did sign him. Good bit of development there. And Dominguez is just solid. Like, he's just really good, isn't he? He has picked up a bit of an injury and he's out for a few weeks now. But it's not the end of the world. He'll be back. My biggest weakness, I think, now is my left back. I'm playing... Well, I don't really have a left back in there at the minute. Larios is not really there. I mean, we don't really have any options. It's probably Rasmussen. He's not necessarily a left back. It's a bit of a thing on my end, to be honest. I got too excited with playing the roles that I've got up there that maybe I should have looked at a left back. That's on me. I said I got £6 million. That's on me. I hold my hand up. I should have got a better left back in. But other than that, we started the season without a win. What do you expect? The player roles we use are trash. We are playing 3 difficult teams in Arsenal, Liverpool, and, alright, Everton. Man United are mid-table. We can't score enough goals, and defensively it's obviously going to hamper us. I'm quite surprised with how well we've done there. But we've got to go into the Champions League with this. Oh, I don't know. This is going to be a step back, isn't it? From the Attackless, which did so well for us last season. This could be a step back. All right, let's see it. Let's see what happens. I'm open wide target forwards going to score me a lot of goals. See, that's great. Let's find out. Do you know what? Buzzing with that. Annoyingly, I'm a point away from, well, actually, our goal difference away from qualifying for Europe next season. But with how bad that started and how much those player roles absolutely suck, by the way, if you're using a Ramdeuter as well, I question what you're doing. What I target forward, I can see it all day. Trekatista is good in the right role or the right system when you've got players around it. And Gonch and Ramdeuter, no, don't use it. Don't do it. You're a pillow snogger if you do, because 9th place, I'm kind of happy with, and I was only a point away from some kind of European football next season, whether that would have been the Conference League or Europa League. I wasn't that far away from the Champions League, to be honest. They're only 6 points above, well, 7 points where I was. I'm kind of happy, and this league is kind of solid now. Victor Osman's in it, Matisse Tell's at Fulham. That tells you everything, doesn't it? Rasmus Højlund's getting 17 goals. They finish in 5th. Jamal Musiala's in the league. This is a difficult league now. Brighton's gone down again. Everton, down. Sunderland, down. It's a difficult league, and I think we're doing all right and we're surviving. We're not getting... I should have looked, actually, at this last season when we had the Attackless. That was a mistake on my part, but still quite enjoyable just to have a look at it now. We're not anywhere near anything other than most goals. We actually scored 62. That surprises me. It doesn't feel like I was scoring 62 goals. 7th highest in the league. That's kind of shocking, actually. And you can see already, we didn't win anything because there was nothing next to our name. We got to the quarterfinal of the FA Cup, and then West Brom knocked us out, who are not even in our league. They went on, unfortunately, into the semi-final and played against Arsenal, who went on to win it and beat Manchester City in the final. 3rd round by Liverpool, and Aston Villa went and won that. Of course, the Premier League winners last season, Aston Villa, down in 4th this year. Round of 60 in the Champions League, quite impressive though, considering how bad we really were, and we got tonked in the end by Real Madrid 6-2, but we did hold them to a 2-2 draw, so that ain't bad at all. The knockout playoff round, we were in, and we knocked out Young Boys. I didn't expect us to finish at the top 8, but we finished middle of the pack in 15th place there. 4 wins. Good wins where we didn't even concede a goal. We did draw to Sporting and we lost 3. We got smashed by Barcelona at the Nou Camp and beaten at home by Milan 4-2 and away to Shakhtar. It's not a bad time, actually. Inter Milan went on to win it, and I kind of like that. And they beat Real Madrid in the final. Go on, Inter. He screwed us a little bit, didn't he? But we still got some goals in there. Even Cameron Archer come off the bench and got 13. Have we found his role, Trekatista? Because that's mental. He got 2 goals less than Alexander Isak. That's crazy. My boy Yilmaz, who I was really hoping would rip this up on a wide target forward, I'll tell you. 7 goals and 9 assists. Yeah. Can't see him coming back. I mean, it depends. Maybe Tom's got something in for us in that final season. We got £64 million. I kind of want to know what I want to do. It just depends what he's going to tell me to do that I have to work around.
Wow, final season. I'm assuming you are on the cusp of winning the title, particularly after last season with all those amazing attacking roles to use in those attacking players. So to do that, we've got to go very attacking. This season, you are only allowed to use 2 players in that back defensive line, so presumably 2 centre-backs. For your full-backs, they cannot play in the traditional left-back and right-back slot. They have to be at least in the wing-back slot a little bit further up, so just 2 players in that back line at all times. This hopefully is going to mean we're going to go and score, 243 goals this season, and then win the league title. That's the plan. Just go all out attack and keep very few defensive players.
Alright, so he did say we could only have 2 in defence, and he said we could be attacking us whatever we want. I'm going back to this. I had way too much fun using the Attackless. It arguably was the most successful tactic that we have had this whole time. So I feel like I've got to go back to the well. Now, I have changed it around slightly. We, of course, stuck by his rules of having just 2 centre-backs and then going further up the pitch. So we've got 2 inverted wing-backs on attack. And I'm actually going to lock in 2 players to play in 2 roles. And one of them is the inverted wing-back, and it's a new signing. And that man is Ruben van Bommel, because attacking-wise, he's class. He is amazing. He's good going forward. He doesn't naturally have the roles that I like from the winger, but he is really good in other scenarios, and I really like the fact that he can play, well, he can't play that, but we're going to play him there as the agile player who can run through. And I picked him up for £61 million. I know it's a lot of money, but it's the final season. I had a bit of an overhaul. So he goes in there, and then Cameron Archer, who scored quite a lot of goals last season, is going to go in there. The signings that we made this season, we still left with £15 million in the bank. I sold Brereton Diaz, Flynn Downs has also left, Sulemana's gone on a free. There's obviously a lot of players left. I signed 2 players. It was Ruben van Bommel and Kelleher. I needed a backup goalkeeper. What do you want from me? Because I actually think the team that we've got left in the side is good enough. Now, it would mean this, and then, where is he? Archer in there, and then, of course, Ruben van Bommel there. That's what I wanted. That's what I was kind of hoping to go for this season. Rowe and Isak on the wings. I think 2 tall, strong, powerful wingers who can run with the ball, cut inside, and can also score. Sugawara and Van Bommel, 2 very good attacking fullbacks. I like that. Dominguez and Martel are our ball-winning midfielders. Samardzic is a great attacking creator. And then hopefully Cameron Archer's good enough, like he was last season. Kind of giving him a last-ditch chance, to be honest, because he scored so many off the bench. I was kind of impressed with him. Let's see if he can do it this year. Very attacking again. The instructions are as follows. It's really similar to what we did when we had that Attackless campaign, other than just the player roles on the pitch have slightly changed. But that's what we're looking like tactically, and we've started really well. I mean, we've lost 2. One was against Arsenal, who won the league, so that's not too bad, is it? And they have Bruno Fernandes. Oh, that makes me feel sick. 56 million. Would never happen, would it? Never happen. But Bournemouth beat us, unfortunately, for a 96th minute winner. That's devastating, but we'll take it. We don't take it, but you know what I mean. We'll accept it. But we've done very well in the Cup. 6-1 against Swindon after knocking Brighton out on penalties in a 4-4. But we beat West Ham 2-1. Good result there. And Norwich City 4-1. And you can see the goals coming in here. We're flying. Okay, I thought what I'd do now is show you a goal from a build-up play. Because last time we shown it from like a defensive point of view using the high press. But of course, when you've got the ball, you still want to score goals, rather than just giving it back to them to score them. Don't want that happening. So here is a build-up play. And you can see already how our shape of our front 4 basically lines up again like the 4-2-2. But Cameron Archer and Samardzic in there, Harwood Bellis, and of course our other centre-back, Collins, and we've got Van Bommel, wing-back, Sugawara, wing-back, and then Charles, who is playing the DM role alongside somebody else, but I don't know where they are on the pitch. I actually think, yeah, we're down to 10 men here. Even more impressive then, because look what happens next. Harwood Bellis runs into that space that he's been given, finds a simple pass to Samardzic, who picks it up, and you can already see Cameron Archer, who likes to beat the offside trap, started his run. He started his run, and he's timed it to perfection, and he's running through on goal. Oh, there's Dominguez. There's Dominguez. He's down there. We did this with 10 men. 10 men and no attackers. Fantastic goal against Norwich. I'm really pleased with that. So we started the season quite well. We're in 8th place in the Premier League after just 2 losses. I don't think, like Tom said, we're going to be challenging for the title. I still think we probably need a season or 2 to do that and possibly not have such a ridiculous tactic. If we just went with the most meta tactic possible, then maybe. But we're not doing that today. I like a little bit of fun, and I wanted to go back to Attackless because I enjoy it too much. So let's see how this one plays out. Well, it wasn't as good as last time, which was 5th, but a 7th place finish we will take. Hilariously, Newcastle, who have just been promoted, finished above us. This whole rebuild has just been full of weird stories because Tottenham have gone on and won the league. Now, by the way, if you are part of the Season 5 crew and you got this far, let us know down in the comments section. I always love to see how many people are part of the Season 5 crew, and proud of it. It is great to see. So, 7th place finish. Alexander Isak was our top scorer this season with 13. It's not a lot. But the league table, we have got Europa Conference League football next year, probably because of where we finished, because the Europa League, Chelsea are in it, and the Champions League, Palace are in it, which is rather impressive, to be honest. Graham Potter is the manager. They won the Europa League against Fenerbahce, so really good from them. I'm quite impressed by that. That they've managed to do that. They also lost to us in the 4th round of the FA Cup, which means we've got quite far in that competition. Anyway, Crystal Palace, European champions. I don't think they've ever won anything, so that's really good from them. Don't know what Chelsea have won, but anyway, we'll look at the profile of the league. We don't have anybody here other than yellow cards. We've got 3 of them. Eric Martel with 17 yellow cards. He probably missed so many games. Do you know what? I'm really happy with how this has performed. We had the 4th Highest amount of goals, alright, it was only 57, but it's still quite impressive. Still impressive. Tackles were not there or anything like that. Competitions then, where do we get these competitions? Where do we finally finish? Quarter-final by Liverpool in both. Oh, that is such a shame. FA Cup was eventually won by Chelsea. They've got European football next season. You can see that because of that. And the Carabao Cup was won by Manchester City, who beat Liverpool in the final. Now, do you know what? I'm really buzzing with this. I think this has been good fun. Considering how difficult Tom made this challenge, I'm proud of it. So if you want the save game file, which will have the Attackless tactic that we used previously, then it will be there. It's also got the ones that we used the season before. I don't think anybody wants to use that. But if you want the Attackless tactic on the patreon.com/MegaLukeGaming or on the YouTube channel membership pages, you can get this save game file and possibly, I don't know, put these back and try it how I did in that third season, which seemed to do really well. I might make a video on this Attackless tactic if you want to see it, because it's quite interesting. Maybe I'll stick it up on TikTok or something like that, so you need to make sure you follow me on all the social medias, TikTok, Instagram. Really do appreciate everybody who come across and followed my Instagram recently, by the way. I had a load of followers after mentioning that, so keep that up, because I do like a bit of Instagram, a bit of IG. You can see a bit more behind the scenes, a bit more in real life stuff. When I go to wrestling, I post where I'm going and stuff like that. So I really do appreciate everybody who came along and followed me on there. I hope you enjoyed this challenge, because I know I did. I suffered, but I enjoyed it. And a big thank you for Tom, who decided to give me some of the most ridiculous challenges, but it's exactly what I was hoping he would do. And what also I'm hoping he would do is not be a chicken and join me and Dad in a versus rebuild. So go pester him, watch his videos because they're fantastic, and tell him, oi, you need to be in that Omega Luke video. He's challenged you to a freeway rebuild, and it needs to happen. Thank you very much. Make sure you are subscribed and check out this video on screen, because Dad and I have started a race to the Premier League, starting in the Vanderama National League, and I wear a silly bucket hat that was sent to me by one of the clubs in the video. Go watch episode 1 right now.